they've piqued my interest, right? So I'm really curious to see somebody who's played 500 hours of the game already, I'm assuming in some tests, beta tests that have happened, has to say about the game. So let's jump into this one and see if things are looking good, guys, or it's another game that's coming out that's kind of cooked, because I'm hoping this is good. I'm hoping this is good. This has only gone up. It's only got 200 views. Shout out to Bidoof as well, guys. Go check them out. We've watched some of their content before, and it's good. So let's hope we're going for a good spot here.
Hey, we did a rebrand. Anyways, let's get straight to the point.
Okay.
Blue Protocol Star Residence is a banger. For only in its beta version, it already does so much more and so much better than
hey, that's a good start. That's a good start.
than the original that flopped in JP.
Okay.
The difference between old Blue Protocol and to what it is now is massive. The resurrection of this IP is like Final Fantasy XIV when they shut down, then they reopened a little while later.
Okay, all right. Hey, I'm gonna let him cook. I'm gonna let him cook. That's a massive statement. That's a massive statement to talk about FF14 to a Realm Reborn, because that was seismic, right? That was seismic. That is a massive statement. Now, I don't know if he's just throwing it out there casually, but still, huge statement there.
BP Star Residence has a solid foundation for a good release that doesn't come without a few issues, which I will also mention
That's
in
fair.
this video.
That's expected. It's expected.
Okay, let me be completely direct with my first impressions.
Okay.
Before I even downloaded the beta for Star Residence, I thought this game wasn't going to be that good. I think I fell under the same audience of folk that don't like mobile MMOs with all the games.
Yeah. This, when I heard that it was the more mobile version, I was like, man, is this going to be like Taris Land? Is this going to be a Taris Land again?
We had that fell under the same category like Taurus Land.
Let's go. All right. Anybody who's played that, you know why, because that game is turbo ass.
And like that audience, we never played mobile MMOs because we always heard the awful stuff that take place in them. So we stayed clear from them for the most part. However, I wanted to give Star Residence a chance since the Blue Protocol IP was something I cherished even after the shutdown of the original game. And let me tell you, I'm glad I gave it a second chance.
Oh, this is good. This is positive.
The first thing I noticed are the graphic improvements. Now, I'm no expert at defining every graphical change,
look at that movement.
But from a novice's perspective, it seems that the coloring has improved over the original, the overall cell shading has improved, and more objects and terrain has improved depth to it. Nothing ground.
Okay, that's good then, because I thought this game was going to be a drastic reduction in all of those things. You know, again, as I say, with it being an anime MMORPG that's definitely catering to the mobile, we're not going to expect a visual feast of like high-end PC levels. But again, as we say, we're just talking about AAA games. That's not important if the game's good, right?
Groundbreaking in today's anime RPGs, but something that is noticeable over BP Japan.
Damn, we're in a seat, boys.
Exploration is another activity people enjoy, and while the graphics and traveling feel good, the game is still missing overworld events that could really bring the world to life.
Yeah, I agree.
Sometimes
important.
It feels sort of empty, and that might be due to the max render distance being too close to the player.
Okay, that's definitely something they want to work on. Because for me, if your open world does feel lifeless, then it's almost you're at a point like, why do I have an open world? What's the reason? Is it just there to just make me walk? You know, at the end of the day, I want to feel like there's things to do in said spaces. Hopefully as well, when it comes to these render distances here, hopefully this becomes a bit of a past problem when it launches properly on PC. There's some extra options for PC to reduce this as well, because obviously I'm going to be playing on a 4090. I don't want to be having popping like that, you know what I mean?
Now, if you haven't figured it out yet, Star Residence does not play one-to-one compared to the original. So far, none of the original cast has made it back to the story, with the story having an entirely new cast.
Oh, interesting.
Although many monster assets were reused from the original,
that's
almost
fine.
all of them have entirely new attack patterns, and every boss...
Not gonna lie, that's good though, because that's shortening development time. That makes it so they can maybe get on doing other things as well and potentially add more content also.
That has never appeared in the original. This alters the way dungeons are played out, as now the boss fights at the end of a dungeon play a lot like similar fights you would see in FF14 or even
that's good. That's definitely good, because in my opinion, FF14 does some really good boss shit.
Lost Ark. Back in the original, every boss has no mechanics and was simply a hit boss until a die simulator.
Yeah, you need mechanics in
While
an
in
MMO.
Star Resonance, it's more of a traditional MMO boss fight, utilizing the Holy Trinity consisting of tank, support, and DPS. In Star Resonance, your positioning is important for keeping uptime on the boss, and mechanic knowledge is important for clearing runs smoothly.
Okay. Hey, so far, this all sounds pretty positive in regards to the combat.
Sounds amazing, but unfortunately, in the beta, most of these mechanics can be skipped if you overgear the content, and let me tell you, it was pretty easy to achieve that.
Okay,
The
that's definitely a problem, because then content will become inconsequential, and you don't want that.
A Q&A regarding this issue, and they'll make necessary adjustments in order for mechs to play out normally, while also planning to add more mechs into the future. Now, let's talk about character progression. The game encourages you to play only one character, with the option to make alt characters if you feel like it. I will be going over reasons to play an alt character or account in another video, but for
I believe that you get a set amount of stamina, right? Because this is going to be an MMO that has stamina, like our gacha games, right? So I think it's something like 400. So having alts will allow you to, like, bypass your daily stamina, I guess, in a sense. Obviously, I'm sure you'll probably be able to buy stuff from a store to alleviate that as well. Of course you will, right? Of course you will. I don't know how the alts is going to... Do you have to pay for alts as well? I'm curious.
For right now, it isn't needed to reach endgame content. The game gives easy access to swap between classes. You will need an item from the shop to access more than 1 or 2 classes. The game lets you play for free, but any free-to-play can earn access to a single new class within less than a week's worth of playing the game. Okay,
then, so you can at least get 1 extra class free to play. Again, I am the type of person that, I suppose it just depends on the MMO you're playing, like, you know, especially if it's subscription-based stuff anyway, like having, obviously, unlimited amount of alts. I do prefer being able to just have them anyway, but I get it. They're trying to make some money somewhere. The fact that at least free to play, you can at least have 1 alt, I guess, is at least something, right? It's at least something. I wonder how much the price is, though, to have any more.
Through a currency that the game gives, which is bounded rose orbs.
This on PC. It's going to be on PC and mobile, yeah, Leo.
Rose orbs with unbounded rose orbs, which I will explain later in this video.
Right, okay.
The game offers a talent tree, which was never a thing back in BP Japan.
Okay.
The tree branches into 2 paths currently for each class, which dramatically changes the way the class plays out.
That's good. That's good.
I like to yap a lot in my streams, so a class path that's easy to play.
Hey, chat, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. We don't yap. We get straight to it. Gaming, no yapping. We do this.
While still doing infinite damage.
Anybody who says otherwise is fibbing.
Right tree was a good choice. The game also lets you level skills using a currency you obtain in-game.
Okay.
Leveling skills is an entirely different system from your class's skill.
UI looks very, very, what's the word? Efficient, yeah? Doesn't look like there's much to it. I would hope it looks a little bit better come launch. Now, it's everything's clean. I like that. But nothing like, I don't know, it just looks a little bit too clean, almost. I know I shouldn't really say that, because having a UI that you just don't pay attention to is the best kind of UI, right? This looks very, very plain Jane.
Skill tree. Both of these
not yapping, but intellectual discussion, right? Just
along
like
the
pics for
topic
real.
of gear score, gearing also has more to offer in Star Resonance. There's substats on gear pieces you earn. There's also refining, reforging, gems, modules, armbands, combat fantasies, and possibly more.
So lots of farming.
In my head. But the point right now isn't to learn about what each progression does. It's more to know that there's more to work on in this game, to where you won't become as bored as you did back in BPJP, where you were done gearing in less than a couple.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was the thing that I was hearing. I think it was from Bidoof, actually, who were talking about that you just get to a point really quickly where you just kind of left wanting that you haven't got much to do regarding your character, so that's cool to hear.
Worth of playtime. Okay, now let's get something out of the way fast, which is the monetization.
Typical. Yeah, it's just clean. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm probably nitpicking. Honestly, I'm probably nitpicking.
Chinese community has already heavily critiqued it as being unfair for those that didn't invest money into the game, and the devs talked about it in their Q&A and live streams, and will make adjustments for it to be more fair.
Okay.
But why was it unfair in the beta, you ask? This is mainly due to the unbounded rose orbs to unbounded Luna conversion in the auction house. Right. You can buy unbounded rose orbs through the game's top off section.
Okay.
Afterwards, you can exchange that for unbound Luna, which is used to buy a variety of items, including items that would normally be time gated. Now, buying time-gated items wouldn't be so much of a problem since anyone in the game can earn unbounded Luna without swiping. However, the amount of ways to obtain unbounded Luna is very limited to where the average non-whale cannot afford most of the time-gated materials. Once again, Tencent is very aware that
so it was
the
paid to
player base
progress
is pissed
massively.
off
Okay.
and will make changes. Furthermore, if you're ever worried that this will somehow bleed into global, you shouldn't worry since EU has laws preventing such predatory practices.
Yeah, okay.
Next, let's
See,
go
like,
over
for
the
me as
casual
well,
side of
I'm not averse to paying like a monthly subscription in an MMO because, you know, that back in the day, that was the atypical thing, right? I know it's changed a little bit now, you know, with Final Fantasy giving you a massive amount of content for free, ESO allowing you to play free and then you can pay. So yeah, again, if it comes to playing an MMO, again, that you're going to spend a lot of time in, I'll happily pay like a pass, whatever they do, some kind of subscription per month, one, just to play really personally if I enjoy the game enough. But obviously it'd be nice to get some extras as well, you know what I mean? Thank you, EU, right? Based EU, let's yeah, definitely. WEU for once.
The only way to earn
You know what? The EU are fucking useless 99% of the time. But I'm not gonna lie, when it comes to gaming stuff, kind of based, man. Kind of based.
There are other side activities the user can engage with to farm gear, such as world bosses, and in the future,
Okay,
even
cool.
the fishing system.
Yes,
For
maybe
a beta,
fishing.
there's a fair amount of emotes and gestures you can use in game, with more coming in future
Damn,
updates.
the tavern's popping.
The chat system can be a bit clunky to use at times, but interacting with others through it is easy when you're only focusing on yapping and no other activities on the side. You can even send
it's an MMO, right? The true end game is standing around in town like this, flexing and talking to people, right? You know, that's the end game. It's a real end game, right?
Which is very cool, but likely won't use it in global because I feel like I might get banned listening to some of the stuff you guys are going to be posting in there while I'm streaming.
Oh, wait, what? Wait a minute, what? Did he say little audio clips there?
The chat system can be a bit clunky to use at times, but interacting with others through it is easy when you're only focusing on yapping and no other activities on the side. You can even send voice messages, which is very...
I'm just going to say, hey, that's a cool little thing. I don't know how long that's going to last, if I'm honest. I don't know how long that's going to last because, come on, we know gamers. That's risky, man, especially when people find out people are streaming. You know what they're going to be sending to streamers.
Very cool, but likely won't use it in global because I feel like I might get banned listening to some of the stuff you guys are going to be posting in there while I'm streaming.
True.
There's even... what? Huh?
Okay. All right.
No. Don't look at that.
No,
you get what I mean.
Whoa,
There's
whoa. What was going on there, bro? What was going on there?
Social features in-game with more on the way. The devs already mentioned that they wanted to prioritize satisfying the casual audience, so expect the activities I mentioned to be expanded later.
Yeah, I think with an MMO, I suppose the MMO audience has changed a little bit, right? Like the MMO space is a little bit niche now, right? It's a little bit more niche, but because like old school MMOs weren't hardcore, right? You know, I'm talking back in the times when you had to read everything. There wasn't waypoints, there wasn't markers, there wasn't like, you know, a direction to go over it. So if you didn't read something that somebody told you, you kind of, and sometimes you could soft lock yourself in certain older MMOs because a character wouldn't necessarily repeat a bit of information that you'd missed. I don't want to go back to that, but when it comes to MMOs, I want there to be enough casualness to the game where it allows maximum amount of people to get in and enjoy that early game. But I do admit that it's finding that fine balance of making it casual enough for everybody to enjoy. But for me, MMOs do need, like, personally need to have that there, you know, some the end game grind, the higher level grind, you know, where you can spend a lot of time in perfecting builds, maximizing your characters, maximizing gear for like you know, end game content, whether it be like you know, harder raids or guild based stuff or PvP in whatever game you're playing. I am here for a little bit of the grind when it comes to MMOs. So it's good that they're looking at that, but hopefully they don't lean too hard into the casual side of things because honestly, that's why I think games like Genshin and WoW do so well, because they offer that element of an MMO in a sense where it's single player, it's super casual. You just got characters to collect, right? Where, you know, because like, you know, WoW and Genshin do take a lot of things from MMOs, but yeah, just a bit of balance. Hopefully they get the balance right.
Finally,
This all
Let's
sounds
talk about
pretty
the
positive, though,
time-gated
right?
content. Many content in this game is on a
RuneScape's still the best
server
MMO.
time
Dude,
gate,
I love a
meaning
bit of
it'll open up for
RuneScape, man.
everyone at the same time. You might be thinking, time gate, great. Game is bad, GG's. But somehow Tencent implemented it in a way where the time gate is natural and makes sense for the game while still being fun. I'm not the best at describing it.
Okay, I'll have to see that in action because time gates never sound good, especially in MMOs, right? I hate time gates in general in games, you know? That's one of my things that I'm not a massive fan of in Arknight. Sometimes, you know, when it's like, oh, let me grind a material for this character. Oh, fuck, I need to do that tomorrow kind of thing. And then if you accidentally forget to log in that day, you're like, shit. And like in a Theory of Restart where it's like, you've got to get to a certain level to continue on with a story quest. Not a big fan of those sort of things. So, yeah, I'm going to have to see that for myself, really, to see if it kind of makes sense because I always just see them as a negative, never a positive, personally.
But pretty much every person that has played through the beta has similar opinions and believes it's good. Some of those people also played through Tower of Fantasy's horrible time gate system and still say that Star Resonance did it well. I played through the beta and still
see, my worry is there, though, that people are comparing it to something like that, where people doing like Wuthering Waves sometimes, where it's a kind of an icky system, and then they're like, yeah, but it's better than that system. And it's like, is that good though, or is that just better than the bottom of the barrel? You know, no, I'm not accusing that of Terra Fantasy, but you know what I'm saying. I just think sometimes that like people will look at that and go, well, it was better than that system. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a good system, right? But hey, yo, I ain't played it. Most of these people are saying it works, so we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Over 500 hours. So I think something about the time gate was done perfectly if I managed to have that many hours in a 3-week beta period.
Okay.
That pretty much wraps up my thoughts. I might have missed over something.
Wait, bro got 500 fucking hours in the game in 3 weeks. Damn, bro. That's insane. I've never done that with a game ever, I don't think. Maybe COD back in the day, maybe. Maybe? I don't know. Deadside, when that came out like a couple of years ago, I did like 120 hours in like 2 weeks. But even that, man, you know, damn, that's a lot of fucking hours, man. Bro must have been fucking sleeping at his computer, man. You know? 5-minute naps here and there. Bro.
And if I did, that
hey, I respect the grind.
Their daily Q&As and dev live streams. The Chinese community has been very thorough with their feedback to address key issues the game has. To see all the Q&A yourself, check them out in the Star Resonance database community Discord. Link to it will be in the description below. Finally, what would I rate Star Resonance on a scale of 1 to 10 if it were to be released right now? Personally, I would give it a 7 out of 10. That sounds low.
7 out of 10. Now, I don't think that sounds low. That's realistic. If dude did a turn around and says, yeah, it's a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, I'd be like, yeah, I think bro's he's gassing it up here, right? 7 out of 10 makes me a little bit more positive now because dude's pointed out things he really likes about the game, critiqued certain things, and then giving it a pretty reasonable score there. So I don't feel like dude is just like mega gassing the game up here. So, yeah, the way I look at reviews as well, if it's 1 to 10, 5's average, right? Anything above 5 means it's a good game. It's just 10's perfect, which I'll never give a 10. 9's pretty fucking damn good, right? And anything above 7's really, really good in my opinion. So, yeah, man, 7 is what's he? 3 weeks is 504 hours. Math isn't massing here. I don't think, yeah, a bit crazy, right? Maybe it was a little bit longer than 3 weeks, maybe it was just for the sake of, you know, maybe it was a little bit more than 3 weeks. Who knows? But yeah, it's a lot. It's a fucking lot. It's a lot.
But let me explain the rating quickly. I am a harsh rater, and I even gave original Blue Protocol in Japan a 4 out of 10 for first impression. Okay. But I still enjoyed playing the game despite the low rating. So before I dive deep into this topic, a little bit.
Okay, yeah, it was. It definitely. I was just thinking in my head. Then was it Bidoof we watched before? I think I remember. I don't know if it's this specific video, but I remember him standing here with his character in this area and me watching one of his videos. So it is the same dude, yeah.
Me. I did play the game for about 2,000 hours and maxed every class. Furthermore, when you consider all the MMOs out there right now that aren't the juggernauts like Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, or RuneScape, many of them are 6 out of 10 right now, or even lower. 7 out of 10 is already a good start for standard MMOs.
I agree.
I can already see a handful of players giving it a higher rating than mine. It already has a lot of cool features for a beta, with more planned adjustments and additional features along the way.
It looks like a nice world to spend time in, right?
I see you all playing Star Resonance someday. I'll be covering Star Resonance extensively, so if you want to see more thoughts from someone that plays thoroughly through the endgame, be sure to like and subscribe because that'll help this small YouTuber out. That's all. Until the next one, bye bye.
Okay, all right. The number of hours sounds a little bit sus, but you know what? Let's just say for the sake of it, I'm not calling dude out, at all. It was maybe just for the sake of the video. He's just saying 3 weeks, 500 hours. Who knows? Maybe it's close. Maybe it's not quite 500 hours. Maybe it's more than 3 weeks. I don't know. I don't know how long the beta ran for, right? I do trust this dude's viewpoint, though, because his previous videos on Blue Protocol, I think were pretty fair, He was very critical about things, spoke about the things he really liked, and a lot of the things that he was very critical on have been things that people have echoed since the game's died. So I think it's, anyway, I can only, say I haven't played the game, so I can only go off what he's saying. But, hey, positive sounding things, right? Positive sounding things, Combat, bosses have got better. He's spoke about the visuals improving in certain ways. I think the thing for me, which is a big factor, is that when I'm playing an MMO, I want lots of things to distract me on the open world as well. Because sometimes, for me, MMOs are really good games there to just kind of mindlessly play. So you're not necessarily going in to do like high-end raids or doing like guild battles or you're in PvP or whatever. You're just kind of playing it cathartically, You're just going around doing overworld stuff and stopping here, fighting some mobs, doing a particular thing over here, stopping somewhere, spending half hour fishing or whatever it might be, playing some mini games, going to the sorcerer in something like Final Fantasy, where it just kind of like mindlessly playing a game. You got someone on the second monitor and you're just grinding basically, right? So I definitely do think they need to work on that. Make sure they've got plenty of stuff to do in the world for sure, because I've said this before when it comes to open world games. If there's not much to do in the open world itself becomes a barrier to fun, personally, rather than, and then you end up just wanting to TP everywhere as fast as possible. If you ever have to walk anywhere, it's tedious, right? And then at that point, you're like, why is this game even open world at this point? So I think this is what a lot of MMOs can end up suffering from. So, yeah, I think this has made me a little bit more positive. I did have a video planning to go up about Star Resonance. I actually uploaded it. I just didn't click publish because everybody was making the same kind of videos about Star Resonance. And I was like, you know what, whatever. I'll just put up some other videos. Because sometimes that can be a bit of a problem in the gacha space. Some news comes out, everybody reacts to it in the same way. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to leave that video. This is a good one. Got a little bit of a straight from the horse's mouth, shall we say, here in the... Sounds all right, yeah? Sounds all right. Positives. We'll have to wait till we get our hands on it as well anyway. It's coming out this year. No idea when, but I'm assuming it's going to be after summer, right? There's no announcement date, so I'm going to say it's probably safe to say Q4, right, for this, but I'm going to be waiting. I'm looking forward to it. This has made me even more excited now. I'm really glad to see this. But guys, if you haven't checked out this creator, it's Bidoof 2D. They do make some good videos breaking stuff down, like I said, about Blue Protocol before. And yeah, I'll be keeping up on any other videos, the posts, to see what they've got to say about Star Resonance, because I'm quietly anticipating it. I'm quietly anticipating. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. Give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.